Today we have in our studio three students from La Martiniere College in Lucknow. They are here on a scholarship and sponsorship to participate at United Nations Model at Yale University and Ivy League schools and colleges. We are very happy to have three of them here and also their teacher with us. We are going to talk to their teacher later on. But welcome to our studio.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. So let's start with you first. What is your full name?
So my name is Raghav Kohli.
Raghav Kohli. And you?
So I'm Abbas.
And what about you?
So my name is Devansh.
Okay. And all three of you are high school students, right?
Yes, sir. We're in 11th standard, sir.
The 11th standard.
Yes, sir.
And you are, like in India, you have arts and science, so what is your background?
Yeah, sir. You want to tell?
I have taken humanities with maths.
Okay.
Yeah, I have taken science with maths.
Okay. And what
sir, I've taken commerce with mathematics.
Okay. So this is the first time you are here in the United States?
Right, sir.
And how many days you have already spent here?
2 weeks, sir.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
And when are you going back?
So we'll be
leaving actually tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a fun time here.
Yes, sir,
Yes,
definitely.
Definitely.
Okay. So now let us talk about and please feel free to interfere whenever you want to intervene. How this trip happened?
So basically, sir, we've been attending Model United Nations conferences in Lucknow and around in India, basically around the country. And we've hosted 2 Model United Nations in our school also. So we just thought of getting international exposure in this program because basically Model United Nations is all about internationalism.
Sure.
And about collaborating and communicating with people around the globe and getting different viewpoints. So we thought that we could actually get a truly international exposure if we attend a conference outside of India. So we browsed a few conferences on the net and we found that Yale is perhaps one of the best in the entire world.
It has also been for a very, very long time.
Yes, this was actually its 41st session.
41st, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so it's like one of the first Model United Nations conference in the world. And so we spoke to our principal about it and he was very supportive. So we got in touch with Alumni. They really helped us. This organization based in the United States called OMAIN. It's the organization.
And they have a chapter in Boston too, right?
Yeah. So it's the Old Martinians Association of New England.
Sure.
So they've been really helping us around with getting accommodation and with all sorts of logistics to materialize. They've been really helping us. And in India also we had alumni which came up and tried to fund the program in whatever capacity they could. And so, I mean, all of us and our faculty advisor, Dr. Siddiqui, she has basically been in charge.
We are going to talk to her later on.
She has been in charge of this program. So, I mean, all of us discussed this with alumni and with the principal and finally were able to materialize this whole program.
Now, I have one question for you. So how long, when you guys first thought that, okay, we are going to apply to Yale, how long it took to get everything in order?
Sir, actually, it was, we applied nearly 4 months ago for Yale University. And so slowly, sir, when we talked to our principal, we started materializing on things. So OMAIN came up, sir. We started getting things together, sir. We did not get it in together, sir, in the first time. So slowly, sir, we got some money, so we got the tickets done. And so, sir, it took a long process, sir, to get all this materialized. And so finally, we are here, sir.
So 4 months is not that bad, actually.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a quite fast comparing with for this your trip.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now when you came here, what is the first place you went?
So we went to New Haven first, Connecticut.
That's the Yale, right?
Yes, Yale University. And we were there for 4 days. The conference was for 4 days. So we reached on the 21st. And we left from New Haven for New York on the 25th.
So how many at Yale, how many students participated and how many countries were involved?
Approximately 2,500 delegates were there present in Yale University.
And from how many countries?
So they were from all over the world. It would be very difficult to tell you the
I
exact
think
number.
from around 78 countries.
Yeah,
I guess
somewhere around that.
Around 80 to 90 countries.
And from a number of delegates from India?
I think there was a delegation of 25 students from Punjab.
Okay.
A delegation from Bombay, which was 10
So
students
around 40 students from India.
Yeah.
From 40 students from India. That's
Yes, sir.
excellent. So how was the experience at your presentation in the model? What did you learn?
Sir, basically, sir, we have been doing model conference before, but sir, apart from the model conference, we like to interact with some people from different countries, so like China, New Zealand, sir. We got to interact with people, sir, and we also learned a lot of new things, sir, about their culture, how people do conferences internationally, sir, how to be more, sir. We were more social with people, and sir, we learned a lot of new things about Model UN, sir. I think Raghav will tell us
So
more
Raghav,
about his
when you go
experience.
back to India,
Yes, sir.
what are you going to tell your colleagues there?
So basically, I guess the biggest lesson all of us learned here was that international exposure is really important. And I mean, people should not be restricted by geographical limitations. I mean, there's a world out there for everybody to discover, and there are resources to basically fulfill whatever aspirations you have. So it's really important to get international exposure. So when we reach back, we would definitely encourage,
Our juniors,
more,
yeah.
our juniors
Yeah.
to be sent abroad to get a feel of the entire thing. Because I mean, in 2 weeks we saw 3 Ivy League colleges. We went on a tour of MIT. We attended a class at Harvard. So I mean, all of this is really enriching academically as well as in other aspects, and we really feel that it's really important for overall the overall growth of a
Yeah.
person.
So now when you attended class at the Harvard, how was it different than how you were taught in India? Or
Definitely,
what?
sir. It
It's
was
definitely
very,
very
very
different,
different
sir.
because basically it was not a lecture as you have it in India. It was basically a discussion between the professor and the students. So basically, we were given a study guide. The students were given a study guide, but we were not able to actually go through it because we were not given it very fast, and it was hard to materialize that lecture. But we got it, I think, one day back before
Yeah,
the
yeah.
lecture, before the discussion. So basically, it was a discussion on a bank, sir, and the case studies were given to the students, and they did their work on it. They did their research on it, and it was basically a very nice.
So basically, so in this
discussion between
session,
the professor.
discussion, we were having a discussion on the bank, and the CEO of the bank was also there.
Yeah.
So, for questions of the students, whatever questions they had, we had the CEO himself to answer those
Yes,
questions.
sir.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was the biggest thing.
So if I ask you, to put everything in perspective, if on 1 to 10 scale, 10 being the best, where will you put how you were taught in India and what you learned here?
So to be very honest about it,
Yeah.
I did not get anything in that lecture because, it was of such a high level
Okay.
that discussion because there was these terms with which we were not, familiar with. So to be very honest about it, even though I did not really understand what was going on in the room, it was still very interesting, and it was like something you wanted to try and understand. So on a scale
So-
of 1 to 10, it would be very difficult for me to rate
So what
it.
about if I ask you just rate the format, not the
The
content?
format,
Yeah.
the format was definitely around 9 and 10, so definitely because it allowed the students to show their interpretation of the topic.
So now compare this one with in India. The
So actually,
format.
La Martinière's got a pretty good education,
Yeah. Okay.
and our teachers actually interact with us. But overall, in India, when you compare it, it's really not that good. India has a lot of catching up to do. But I mean, fortunately, we're studying in a school where the teachers are in touch with the modern style of education, and all of them are like really helpful. So I mean, we're fortunate, but
Yeah.
in general, the standard of education in India is really low.
Can you tell us a little bit about your college, La Martiniere College?
Sir, if I had to describe, sir, my whole experience in La Martiniere, sir, I
No,
don't
just
have,
in history, how was the college, what happened?
sir, we have an amazing college, sir. Sir, I cannot define, sir, how beautiful our college is, sir. Sir, our main building, Constantia, sir, and the whole atmosphere of La Martiniere, sir, is just amazing, sir. It actually is the most, sir, it's give you a holistic education about how do you grow as a person, not limited to academics. So we have, sir, different activities, and sir, what La Martiniere gives is how to become a person, sir, not with academics, with all the activities provides. Sir, I think I am very fortunate to be studying, sir, at La Martiniere College, sir, and sir, I hope, sir, that most of the people, sir, and other colleges, sir, also, sir, get the level, sir, which La Martiniere have.
So
and
what grades you studied there?
So-
From what grade to what grade?
So actually, all of us have been in La Martiniere since nursery, and now all of us are in
From the
class
very
11.
beginning, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it goes through the 12th grade? Or?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
sir.
have one more year to go.
One
Yeah.
more year
Yes,
to
sir.
go. Okay.
14th year, yeah.
Yes,
14th year. Oh,
Yeah.
excellent. And how old is the college?
So it was founded in 1848, and
50.
We can do the math.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, I think putting it gives us a very good idea. Now you have a big alumni presence in the United States,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
And your college, they have been helpful to your college?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Very
sir.
helpful. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Because in La Martiniere, actually, La Martiniere, we've started to, really get the alumni in touch with the current students. So now we've started the interaction, and that's really been helping us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more thing is you won award, right?
Yes,
In
sir.
the United Nations.
Yes, sir.
So can you tell us about that award?
Yes, sir. So basically, I was in the Commission on Crime Prevention and Criminal Justice at Yale, and I won Best Delegate out of around 80 delegates in my committee, which came from parts of the world like Africa. I had delegates from South America, from China, from Philippines,
yeah.
and all of these
yeah.
countries. So I mean, it was definitely a really good experience, and I also got to learn a lot.
It was
from
all
that.
conducted in English, or they had a
Yes, sir.
different,
Yeah, the full program was conducted in
conducted in
English.
English, okay.
But another very good thing about this was that if suppose a delegate did not know how to speak English, they had translators
Sure.
for around 7 languages. So I mean, suppose somebody only knew Chinese, so he used to come and speak, and then we had a translator from Yale or at Ivy League to
Sure.
come up and translate. Yeah, so that was also amazing, truly an international experience.
And what did you meet anyone like, say, from South America? I didn't speak Spanish.
Yes, sir, actually I did. There was this delegate of Colombia in my committee, and she was actually from Colombia. And I met several people from South America. I met people from Russia. Actually, I have a really good friend from Russia now on Facebook, and we're in touch with him. And in Philadelphia, I met people from New Zealand. I met people from Honduras. So it was an experience which I would not have had a chance to have.
So
over there in
now
India.
your visit and interaction with whole 70 people students from 78 countries.
Yes, sir.
Is it going to change your perspective, how you're going to look
Definitely,
at the world now?
sir, because it gives you another dimension about how people really, what this world is constituted of. Because over there in India, we do not have interaction with each and everybody because we're actually, in a shell over there. Whereas over here, people are actually interested to talk to you. People are interested to know your culture, from where you belong to, about your language, what you speak, what age you are, what you're studying over there, from which school you are. Even though they might not have any idea about the geography of India, they are always going to ask you what part of India you're from. So these things definitely, give another idea, another dimension to what people really are.
So what is your future plans?
So I'm planning to study economics over here in USA.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why you are interested in economics?
Economics are basically, I've had whatever I've studied in economics, I've understood that basically it's about human nature, the demands and supply and everything regarding that. And I'm very much compelled by the subject to study what human nature is really about and how what we really want can change the economics and the how things really move in a country. So these are some things which have really interested me.
What about you?
Sir, I want to do my graduation and apply and qualify the civil services examination, sir.
In India?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about
So
you?
I want to do law in India.
Law in India.
Yes.
Okay. Still, there is a lot of craze about, you raise a very interesting subject here, the civil services. Still, there is a lot of craze and hype
Exactly,
about.
sir.
There has been any less demand for that, or it still remains on the top?
Sir, actually, it keeps increasing year by year. So people are more aware about civil examination, and sir, each year more and more Indians sit for the examination.
Because I was under the impression here is that more and more people are going in private sector and things like that, or MBAs, but
Sure, actually it depends on what you want to do, sir.
Okay.
But sir, the stats show that number is increasing, sir, year by year. So more and more people, sir, are sitting for examinations and sir, for civil examination. And sir, it basically depends. So like he wants to do economics, sir, he wants to do law. I want to qualify for the civil. So it depends on the person what your interests are.
So as a student, like
Yes.
what really motivates you to go to civil service?
Sir, actually, sir, I have a lot of IAS officers sir, near me, and sir, the attitude they have, and sir, which it offers you, the civil service, sir, really compels me. Sir, actually, I like what the civil service offers you and what it lets you do for the not actually to talk about the country would be a very exaggerated version of it. What it allows you to do the for reason really compels me, sir, to be a civil servant, sir.
Excellent. Did you also got some award?
Exactly.
Right? What was that?
So it was a it was the most improved delegate, sir, at Yale University. Yes, sir.
And how was your experience? Yale is a very famous, Ivy League college. How did you feel just walking around there on the campus?
Sir, exactly. The campus was amazing, sir, and sir, ahead of the campus also, sir, it was a nice experience to meet people from different countries, sir. Actually, what sir we felt about the country, sir. We had a view of their countries in our mind and what view they had about India. So we exchanged our views and said sir, what they think about India, what we think about their countries. So it was a very good experience interacting, and sir, they had a very good, fair, a competitive spirit, sir. So it was very nice, sir, having so much people from whole world sitting there and sir talking, have a discussion over with them, sir.
What about weather? Did you expect this cold here? Or?
Actually, we did, and I'm really happy that we came to USA at this time because I personally love the winter season, and we don't get a chance to see snow over there,
sure.
And we've got to see plenty of snow over here.
Yes,
So
that's true.
So I've personally had a lot of fun over here, playing in snow.
And the campuses look beautiful. With the
campus
snow.
was really beautiful in snow.
Excellent. Now, for the final round, just have one quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Is when you go back to India, what is the message about the United States you are going to give to, in India you have a country where there's, as you know, that always there's so much talk about politics and either you are anti or pro. So when you are going to go back and, what you are going to tell
So
about
one major difference I've seen in the United States and India is that people here think bigger. I mean, and they're basically more innovative than people in India. So basically that's one thing that India lacks right now and really needs to work upon, because here, I mean, I'll give you a really small example. Here, even when you sit in a taxi, people have a basic level of education, and that's not there in India. I mean, in India, you just get a license through some jugaad,
Sure.
yeah, and you just start, and you get a car from somewhere, and you start driving. Here, you have minimum qualifications, and I mean, even if you talk about, say, the road sense here, even the taxi drivers who might not have got the best education, even they think about everything, and the laws. People here care about all of that stuff, and basically they think larger than what people in India think. I mean, it's not just about the individual here; it's about the complete entity. So I think that's something that should be encouraged in India, and I think I mean with all of us also, we need to work on that. And I guess only that's how, I mean, India can match up to the global standards.
Now, before you came, you must have had certain impression about the United States.
Exactly.
Now, after coming here, has it changed or how it has changed, or it's same?
Sir, actually, sir, it's quite both the view I had and what I saw in the United States are pretty similar, sir. What a major difference I found in the United States, the people are, sir, more willing to help and more helpful here, I think so. What I perspect, sir, like I'll give examples, sir. Like we were in Midway, sir, and we were finding a station, sir. So, sir, one person we met, sir, he was going on the other way. So he took us to the station, sir, led us into the station, sir, and he told us where you want to go, which bus, which train you board in New York. So, sir, that's and sir, people think about the tourister, and I think that we need to work upon being more helpful, being more sir, kind and more polite to people here. I think so that's a thing we need to change in India, because nobody cares that much as I feel in India. So, even some people, sir.
Sure, okay. What about law and order here? Like, what is your impression about dealing with
people respect it. That's one of the very biggest things, one of the very major differences. Like, they're not going to cross the red light. They're not going to run over the red light. They're going to maintain their lanes, which is like so important. They're not going to blow horns at every point of when they're on the road, and these small things about how the people respect the law and how they are following it really impresses me, to be very honest about it.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming and joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Glad that you guys were able to spend some time with us. Thank you. We just spoke with 3 high school students from Martiniere College in Lucknow. Now we are going to talk to Dr. Siddiqui, who is their teacher, who is with us. Dr. Siddiqui, welcome to our studio. And then we have Dr. Kaplesh Kumar, who is with us. At least in Boston area, everybody knows who Kaplesh is. And he is also one of the alumni from Martiniere College in Lucknow, and he is one of the founders of the Alumni Association here in Boston. So we will chat with them about the trip of the students here, and also your Alumni Association, Kaplesh.
Sure.
So, Dr. Siddiqui, let's start with you again. And so what has been your experience? How Are you here for the first time in the US, or you have been in
It's
before?
the first time in US, and I loved it.
Okay, excellent.
It was a great experience, and I think everyone should once visit US.
Excellent, great. And what was your role in the whole program?
Actually, I'm the advisor, and I've been going with them through different MUNs. I made selections. I train boys sometimes, and we decide where to attend and where not to go. So basically, when these boys approached me that there is an MUN in US, first I thought, I don't know whether it will be possible. Then we approached our principal, and he was very supportive. So we started working on it.
And what you teach there at the college?
I teach history.
You teach history.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And so they were saying earlier that it took about 4 months to
Yes.
get everything done.
Yes.
And so how did you manage the finance and sponsorship?
We kept, first of all, we first tried to approach our principal. Then he said, let's make as many people we can approach. So first we pasted on Facebook. And then these boys, they came forward. They were the first one to respond.
I like the boys.
Yeah,
Okay.
these are the boys. Yes,
Actually,
these are the boys.
we refer to alumni
Yeah,
as
the
old boys
Okay.
and old girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, girls
So-
don't like it, but the boys are okay with it.
Okay,
Yeah, the old girls. That's why I don't say old girls because it's always old boys.
Okay, okay.
So these boys, they approached us, and they were the first one to respond that as soon as you enter US, we will take care of you. And Narendra Mukherjee, Mr. Syed Ali, Dr. Kumar, and Dr. Shamsi, they were very helpful. Each one of them. They
So
took-
they basically took care of all your
Yes,
traveling
they were
here,
very
expenses.
supportive, and they were there whenever we needed them. Dr. Prakash, there's another one who is in UN just now. So each and every one just stood by us, and we knew we were taken good care of.
Okay. Now, do you have any number, like how many alumni are outside?
The number is not there. The association we know. The
Okay.
Omain, they say it's Omani. So we used to say Rumain. So
Okay.
this organization, actually we were in touch with them, but we were in touch with few. But I know there is a whole organization behind it.
Yeah, we are a very small organization
So
and
Kap-
new.
Kaplesh bhai, can you talk about that, your alumni
Yeah,
association?
basically, I mean, we were basically, what, about a 2-year old organization
Here in Boston.
in Boston. Well, actually, New England.
New England,
You know,
yeah,
we call
sure.
ourselves,
Sure.
we represent New England, not
Absolutely.
just Boston.
Absolutely.
But there really isn't any other organization, entity in the U.S. That's an old Martinians Association. You know, there's a pretty active group in the UK, and that's a large group. And Australia just finally signed off after a quarter of a century. I mean, they're very active as well.
Sure.
You know.
So, but in United States, this is the only chapter.
This is the only organized entity.
Organized.
There are groups in New York and New Jersey area who basically, get together for, celebration or drinks or something like that.
Sure.
But we are basically
So-
a registered organization.
So, according to your estimates, like how many alumni may be in the U.S.? You have any idea?
I really don't, but I would guess maybe a few hundred.
Few hundred.
Yeah, I mean, at least.
At least.
But I was in constant touch with Dr. Syed Ali, Mr. Syed Ali,
Yes.
and Mr. Kumar.
Yeah,
and
Sayyid Ali being Ali
Shamsi.
Rizvi,
Yeah.
our good old Ali Bhai.
Sure,
Yes,
sure,
Ali
sure.
Bhai,
Yeah.
yes,
Sure,
sure.
yeah.
Better known as
They
Ali
were,
Bhai.
yes,
Yeah.
they were very, they said, you reach here, we'll take care. And India also, the alumni, they came forward. Half what was in the USA was in USA, and then Indian alumni also helped out.
Okay. Do you have any also number in terms of the Indian? How many students graduate every year?
Every year is 250.
250.
Yes, 200,
And-
250, it varies.
And after they graduate, where they go? Like, do you have any data?
Yeah, no, they take off. They go all over the world. You know, many students here in US also.
Okay. No, in
So-
terms of like, college or which university?
Yeah, they mostly, there's no particular. They take off wherever they feel better. They have hundreds of options open nowadays. Initially, there used to be 2 or 3 options. Now they have so many options and so many streams and so many ways they want to take education. And I've never heard of any Martiniere student who's not doing well. So they end up doing very well because I believe that institution really teaches them to decide and to do things well.
Let me just add. Let
Sure.
me just add to what Dr. Siddiqui just said. In my time, and I don't know, hopefully, maybe things have changed by now. But in my time, there was a lot of representation going into the military segment. So, like the Keeler brothers were our product.
Okay.
Who shot down the,
Sure.
with their nuts,
Sure.
took care of the radar and all that.
Sure.
Killed, got killed. I think one or both got killed in the process. There was also Alfred Cook, same operation, and many of these, 4-star generals and all, essentially were a product of La Martiniere. So we were highly represented in the army at one point in time.
And we have a Nobel laureate, Dr. Pachauri.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's from he's an old
Yeah, the
student.
climate change,
Climate change,
the
yeah.
intergovernmental climate
Sure.
change. He heads up that panel.
Oh, excellent. So, Kaplesh, how was your experience in hosting these kids, and how?
Well, somewhat chaotic.
Okay.
Basically because just getting information out of these folks, from Lucknow, wasn't easy, and they had their own compulsions, obviously. Then, not having the full data in front of you, not quite knowing how to respond to it, and then being limited in resources, money as well as people. So basically there wasn't enough to throw around, but we want to make sure that we have enough to make it work.
Okay.
And so we were kind of going by the seat of our pants, if you will, as this whole thing developed. And
do
thankfully
you
it all
plan to
came.
do these type of things in the future too?
We'll see. We'll see. I think there's a maturity level that's got to get into their operation there. This is their first time out. I'm sure they've learned a lot of lessons. Some of the things, the boys
they
boys
seem
talk
to be
about.
very happy with
the boys
the
talked
whole
about
thing,
it.
a great experience.
Exactly. And this is partly of what we were hoping to get out of it.
Sure.
That the horizon changes from India to a global horizon.
I think it's a wonderful,
think beyond.
wonderful
Think
concept.
beyond.
And
It was
it's,
a wonderful exposure, and
yeah.
I think so. The boys have learned a lot.
Excellent.
And surely an international conference will take you, and they met so many people from different nationality, and that is in India there are international conferences, but not at Lucknow.
Yes.
So maybe in Delhi there are people coming from abroad, and I think so we should encourage our children to take up these international.
Sure. So now when you go back, what is going to be your message to the teachers there?
Teachers, yes, you should try hard, and yes, bring more children, and we want more of these support from these associations.
These old boys.
Yes, old boys.
Okay.
These old
Getting
boys.
older every day.
Older every day, but they should come forward and support the young generation, because if they'll not come forward and support the generation, then they sometimes, I think so, their help can lead them to a different direction. It will be really required that all these old boys must come forward and support.
Yeah. One last word from you, Kaplesh.
Well, it's been interesting. Just following up on your earlier question, it has been an interesting approach to this whole thing. I hope we don't have to go through this, piecemeal kind of thing. Next time, hopefully, they'll have their act together better, and we'll have our act together better. Hopefully, we'll have more resources. We have to grow, ourselves, and then maybe we can do a slightly better job. But I think, I tell you, hats off to the Omani members, particularly like Dr. Siddiqui Ali Bhai. The man, I have nothing but the highest of respect for this gentleman. We just need to be more organized, better organized, and if this is going to become a pattern, then we need to have a program of our own that we can spread out and the rest of the, basically rest Martinians in the country, and have participation much beyond, just our local New England.
You must have this number at least in the New England chapter, that how many members you have.
Yeah, but right now we've got, I think, close to about 40.
That's a good size,
It's still modest, considering what we should be.
So
actually, this time it was a very small delegation. We like to bring more children.
Okay, so
yeah, so
be ready,
like this year, we have to expand, and this will really, the school will grow to a level. This is already a good school.
So is
it's one of the best in India.
Is it the first time that a delegation from your college went
the first time.
overseas or out of India?
Yes, the first time, and I think so we need more of these.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your last word with us.
Yes, it was a great experience in US, and though India needs to improve, but India is doing well, it's improving. But if with more interaction with the outside world, we'll go faster.
Excellent.
So,
Dr. Siddiqui, thank you very much for joining us.
Kaplesh, thank
you very
you.
much. Sure.